Good morning from the UK's biggest theme park resort, Thorpe Park. No, I'm only joking. You can tell behind me, I'm at Alton Towers today to check out all the latest updates, including the Congo River Rapids waterfalls are back on after many seasons of rumours, and the latest updates over at HEX, because things might be changing and HEX might be opening shortly, so stay tuned. And of course, getting back on some average, world-class coasters here at Alton Towers, such as Spinball Whizzer. But with that said, have you got some sausages? Because it's going to be a banger of a video. Let's head over to Congo River Rapids first. This is a sight that I've wanted to see for so long here at Alton Towers. I think I might cry. The waterfalls are back on after years of being off. There they are in full operation. I wonder how wet you get though. Well, we'll find out a little bit later on when I finally ride Congo River Rapids with the waterfalls on. Look at those, and the announcements are playing as well. Oh, it's so good. I can just hear them crashing against the water and against the boats. Here they come back round. It's been what, 5 seasons maybe without them? If I counted right, maybe 6. But yeah, there they are in full operation. We'll head around this corner and get a closer look at these, because they do look really good. And it's not just about the ride experience with the waterfalls, it's just about the rapids looking a lot better. Before, the area looked quite abandoned, and especially when they removed that theming up there as well, it just looked really abandoned. But now they're all back on, people are loving it, getting soaked. But the only thing is, people have not got to stand up on here. They've got to stay seated at all times, because you start standing up on these, you know what happens, they're going straight back off. So stay seated at all times on the Congo River Rapids. Pretty simple, stay seated. And there they go past. I mean, why would you go on the rapids anyway if you don't want to get wet? Used to be able to do that, but now with the waterfalls you might get a little sprinkle. It looks so fun though, so we're definitely taking a ride on these a little bit later on. We'll head around the other side now and get another look at the rapids from another view, but we'll head on these after I've been on Sub-Terra and see whether they really make a difference to the actual ride experience. And here they are from the other side, the Congo River Rapids waterfalls, as the boats go past. And what they've got is we've got a member of staff just here looking at people to see whether they're standing up. I heard rumours that they're actually counting per day how many people stand up and see whether it's still alright to have the waterfalls on. But yeah, he's standing just there. But I tell you what, if I was standing there, I'd ask for a seat. He's going to be standing there for the rest of the day. God, give him a pay rise at least. Give him a seat at least. God, stingy, aren't they? Here they come past. So the waterfalls, don't they look amazing though? Just hearing them back on in Catania Canyon is awesome. And you might even get a little bit of sprinkling of wetness. You never know, you might get mildly moist on these now. But we'll ride them a little bit later on to see if they actually make a difference. But yeah, I just feel sorry for this guy here, standing there all day, leaning against that fence. Come on, Alton Towers, at least give him a seat. Anyway, we'll head to Nemesis Sub-Terra first, and then we'll probably head on Curse of the Manor, and then do the Congo River Rapids. Oh, it's very exciting, isn't it? The curse at the Alton Manor, but it's not quite the same with no smoke. Where's the bouncy castle gone? There is no smoke to be seen. However, I don't think it's actually open yet, so maybe it'll come on a bit later. We'll see. Well, that lasted long. It broke. Oh no. Curse of the Alton Manor is broken. It's closed permanently. No, I'm only joking. Looks like they've actually got an evacuation from inside. So that's interesting. Hopefully it'll reopen a bit later on. But when they're coming out this gate, it usually means that the ride vehicles have stopped inside and they're getting everyone out by the exits. So very interesting. But one thing I do know for sure is that Curse of the Alton Manor is broke. One thing that isn't broke or out of service down here at Alton Towers is the roaming characters in this area. They've been out since day one of the opening of this attraction. They're still here doing their jobs, which is really good to see. But here is Curse of the Alton Manor closed for now. Hopefully it opens a bit later. But yeah, it's great to see that they've still got the characters out here. I thought that was going to be a really temporary thing, like maybe like 2 weeks into the opening, but no, a few months on, they've still got them out. So got a cookie from the Curse of the Alton Manor shop, Coach House Confectionaries, run by Aramark. And talking of Aramark, we recently exposed Chessington's food operations, so go and check that out if you're interested in a behind the scenes look at how food is run, in particularly at Chessington World of Adventures. It's a pretty shocking one. Anyway, we're going to head up here. Time's ahead in Nemesis Sub-Terra. Haven't been on it for a good few weeks down here at Alton Towers, and it's only on a 10-minute wait, which is brilliant. I remember coming in on opening day and I queued like an hour and a half for it. Imagine. And yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend queuing that because I think you'll be pretty disappointed if you queued like over an hour for it, because it's an alright ride, but it's nothing special. It's a tiny drop tower inside, but it has got some really good theming and some quite good quality effects in there as well. But yeah, when it's 10 minutes, you've got to come and do it. And also, update for you, if you watched the previous vlog, the TVs are now back on. So Curse of the Alton Manor is broke, but at least the TVs in Sub-Terra queue line are back on. Brilliant. And here we are in the batching area, literally straight away. We'll just wait for the group inside to go through the drop tower section, and then we'll be in. Just been on Nemesis Sub-Terra, 0-minute wait. You know my thoughts on it. It's a decent drop tower with some decent theming. It's a decent ride. Let's head over to Galactica and then head over to the Congo River Rapids. I know what you're waiting for. Now, if you've watched the recent video here on the channel, then you would have saw that I made one about Galactica and its potential future here at Alton Towers. And I just want to clarify that no, Galactica is not the worst ride here at Alton Towers. I actually really enjoy Galactica. That's why I'm about to take a ride on it. Opened back in 2002, the first B&M flyer of its type. And it is a really nice coaster. Like the track, I really like the colour, and when it first opened, the track looked really like clean and really nice and fresh with its sort of sky blue colour there. But over the years, it's just got more wear and tear. Like you can see the track just sort of going a green colour just there. So it needs a good jet wash. And overall the area as well. If you look at the concept plans for Galactica, it was completely different. There's going to be waterfalls everywhere, loads of rocks around the area, fountains, everything like that. But it just seems that none of that came to fruition. It's because of the technology of Galactica. Back in 2002, the first B&M flyer of its type, they needed a lot of money to invest, especially in the trains for this. Of course, the flying position that you're seated in on Galactica. So a lot of the money for the theming went towards that, and they never really got around to finishing off the theming. So what I'd like to really see is just the enhancements of Galactica, even if it's just a jet wash and some station refurbishment. That would do for me, because it's such an underappreciated ride. I really do love it, and that's why I'm going to head on it with 25 minutes. If you want to see me talk, or hear me talk rather, about Galactica, go and check out the recent video, because I do like a full sort of review of it and what its future could look like here at Alton Towers, because it's a very interesting one, especially with the refurbishment of Nemesis, which if you haven't already, we've done a big construction update. All I'm going to say is the loop and the 0G roll have been installed. Anyway, let's head into Galactica. 25 minutes, not too bad for this B&M flyer, and here it comes. Perfect timing. Look at that. I'm an expert at this now. Okay, scrap that. Galactica's not worth the queue that I've just seen there. I know I said I like it, but it's been a bit nice if you think I'm going to queue all of that for Galactica up there. Anyway, let's head to the main thing that I came down here to Alton Towers today for. It's the waterfalls on the Congo River Rapids. Yeah, let's not talk about this thing just here. Let's just sort of skip over that. Bring back Ripsaw. Dun dun dun! It's time to head on the Congo River Rapids with its waterfalls back on. And just before you enter the queue line, you've got this height board just here, or height stick rather, which you can measure yourself to see if you're tall enough for the Congo River Rapids. And just down there actually, I've noticed the Jeep has rolling into the lake. Not really, but the Jeep isn't there. I don't know where it's gone. Whether Alton Towers are taking it for some refurbishment, no idea, but the Jeep has gone. The Congo Jeep has disappeared. Is it sunken into the River Rapids? Maybe the waterfalls are taking it down a stream. I don't know, but it's gone. And if you're not too keen on the Congo River Rapids, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, because we will be checking out the updates over at HEX a little bit later on in the vlog, and the updates over towards 13 and Rita, if there are any. You know me, I always notice the small details here at Alton Towers, and any updates towards that side of the park, of course, we'll be checking out in today's video.
Put your skills to the test. The Congo's giving them everything. Please,
Sub just been on the Congo River Rapids with the waterfalls. Does it make a colossal difference to the ride and how wet you get? No, because I actually got wetter the last time I went on it without the waterfalls. But with Congo River Rapids, it all depends on which seating position you're sat in on the actual rubber ring or dinghy, whatever you want to call it. But the waterfalls are back on. They don't make a huge difference, but I tell you what, it's way better having them on than off than they were before, because it looks so much more better like that. And look, you can see it behind me, they're all pouring down into the water. It looks really good, and it still, you know, gets people a little bit concerned on the boat. They're leaning forward, you know, making the water go behind them. And yes, some people on my boat actually did get wet. So as I said, it really depends on where you're sitting on those. But it's great to have them back on, and it does look much more better with the waterfalls pouring down there on the side. With that said though, the Congo River Rapids, good ride, wouldn't queue anything over 30 minutes, but because the waterfalls were on, I thought I had to give it a go today, and only waited 10 minutes for it as well. Next up though, let's go and check out all the updates over towards HEX. As we head to HEX, there's been plenty of audio changes around the Towers Resort, ready for summer. Well, it is summer, so ready for the next few weeks here at the resort. And yeah, the audio changes, they've gone from like the Alton Towers theme tune song around the resort to like sort of like summer 80s songs, a bit like WWTP radio over at Thorpe Park. Similar songs to that, it's like they've copy and pasted that playlist. But I guess it's nice having that sort of audio for the summer season, brings the summer vibes down here to the Towers of Alton. Hext, please give me a text when you're next open. Yeah, the open bit really ruined it. But here we are by Hext, and yes, you guessed correctly, it's still closed. And what's also still closed is the actual tower ruins itself. We can't even go in there and have a picnic. Not that I'll actually do that, but still, if you're interested in the tower ruins and the history, then yeah, unfortunately you can't check those out as of yet. And Hex still remains closed. We're in the summer holidays now, and this ride is still closed. Unfortunately, it's a great dark ride here at Alton Towers, and actually a few days ago I made a dedicated video to HEX talking about its future and why it's closed here at Alton Towers. So if you're a huge HEX fan, go and check that video out. So we'll give you like an in-detail sort of explanation why HEX is closed and discussing what's potentially happening on the inside of that attraction. Interesting fact for you about HEX, it's not actually in the towers. There's a warehouse behind the towers where the Vekoma Madhouse is located, and in that recent video I gave you a few behind the scenes shots of how HEX actually works. So definitely go and check that out if you're interested in HEX. But yeah, still remains closed here at Alton Towers. When is it going to open? I have absolutely no clue. Thank you. Keep your head back. Hold on tight. You must escape. Rita, it's got a pretty big queue down here at Alton Towers, as it always does. Very popular attraction with that awesome launch just there. Of course, hydraulic launch. That begs the question, how long is Rita going to be here at Alton Towers for? All of the new Intamin coasters are now using LSMs, which is magnet technology rather than the old sort of cable launches that Rita has. So it'll be interesting to see whether it gets converted to LSM launches in the future. I don't think that'd be really beneficial for the park. I think if they were going to spend the money and refurbish it to an LSM launch, then they might as well just rip it out and bring a new coaster to the park rather than modifying Rita. Which, let's be honest, it's not the most amazing attraction. I do really like the launch on it. The launch is arguably better than Red Force over at Portaventura, and that's got the magnetic launch, so it just really depends what you like. But talking of it, here it comes, it's about to launch. In any second now, it's coming. Here we go. Yeah, it's still got that power launch. It's not the most fastest, but it's still really forceful. But the rest of the ride layout lets Rita down. But if it's not got too big of a queue, I might head on it. Oh, it doesn't look like it's got too big of a queue. Might go on it today. Haven't been on it for a while. But a lot of the rides here in Dark Forest do get quite big queues, so we'll see how it's operating today. Especially 13 as well. Funny, I was just talking about the future of Rita here at Alton Towers. It's broken down. Seems to be a common problem. Breaking down rides today. We've had Curse of the Alton Manor, we've had Rita, HEX is closed, Skyride is closed. But yeah, at least most of the main roller coasters are open. And as Rita's closed, it was only on a 10-minute as well. I was getting convinced to go on Rita, 10 minutes. It was looking very appealing to me to head in that queue. And then the Alton Towers employee comes out, no, closed, that's it, done. So we'll head on 13 next, 10-minute queue, not 10-minute queue, 40-minute queue, times that by 4 and you got your answer. But yeah, here we are in the 13 queue. I don't mind queuing in here, it's quite shaded, which is always nice. And the loud audio that the 13 roller coaster comes with, the nice audio, very dramatic as well. I do like 13, so underappreciated and overhated. Such a great themed attraction, and I've heard that it's deteriorating in terms of its theming, so we'll see how bad it's looking now. Yeah, some refurbishment is definitely needed here on 13. You can see there some of the bricks that are starting to peel off. They're not actual bricks, but they're just a bit of theming that was put on there when it opened in 2010. And yeah, it's all starting to peel off and flake off. Put some footage over in the queue line as well of some of the walls that are starting to really peel off. And there's another example of it. They could just take those off and replace them, that would be quite nice. And Rita has reopened. Look at that timing, just came out at 13, and now it's time for a ride on Rita. Just reopened after a little bit of downtime. The engineers were on site fixing it or doing whatever they were doing, and yeah, now it's reopened, which is great. Not too much downtime, however long I was in the 13 queue for, about 20 minutes with that. So yeah, not too much downtime. At least they got it up and running as quickly as possible, which is great. They evacuated the queue line as well, so luckily they've got this back open and guests are back in the queue. And talking of queue, let's head in it and let's head on Rita. Vroom. I've possibly just had one of the most eventful queues for Rita in the history of me coming to Alton Towers, but look, I'll explain exactly what happened in that queue in just a few minutes. But before that, here's all the latest updates to do with the Sky Ride. This is basically it. The Sky Ride is still closed. That's pretty much the update. No updates have happened in terms of the interior. There's no like gondolas in there, whether they're on the other side by Forbidden Valley, I'm not too sure, but I can't see any gondolas in there. Actually, 100% there's no gondolas in there. So I wonder what they're doing, I wonder what's happening with it. I guess it's just some planned winter maintenance, or summer maintenance now, that needs to be taken out. Which of course, safety is always #1 priority. You know, it's really dead in this area of the park without the Sky Ride. And yes, it's not the main ride here at Alton Towers, it's not like a killer if like you come here and you see Sky Ride closed, you're not going to go crazy, but it is a good transportation system to have here at Alton Towers, especially if you struggle walking long distances, if you have mobility issues or accessibility issues, then the Sky Ride is really a key ride for you. So this should be up and operating now. However, I'm not going to judge Alton Towers too much. This could be completely out of their control in terms of like getting parts for it or potentially some maintenance that's just taken longer than they initially thought, but it is still down here at Alton Towers. So if you do need to get to the other side of the park, unfortunately, you will either have to walk around or use the gardens to get to Forbidden Valley. But yeah, there's not really much updates to cover. I'll tell you what does need to be done though, potentially a repaint on some of those supports just there. It's all starting to flake off. Maybe they'll do that before it reopens. Potentially this season, or in my opinion, more likely next season now. Anyway, let me talk to you about my eventful queue for Rita. So let me talk to you a bit about my eventful queue for Rita. Headed out of 13, I thought, yeah, I'd enjoyed that ride. I was towards Blackpool on 13, and I was like, yeah, quite good. The theming's quite good on 13. We'll just ignore the fact that it is sort of crumbling apart. But you know, it was a good ride. Headed out and I saw Rita open. I was like, right, let's head straight on Rita. Literally just opened at that point. Literally just take... Okay, let me talk to you about my eventful... Okay, so let me talk to you about my eventful queue for Rita. So headed out of 13, you know, good ride, good theming in there. We'll ignore the fact that it is sort of crumbling away at the minute, but still a good ride on 13, especially the first and second drop of it. And I thought, right, let's head over to XX do Smile and Oblivion. But then I saw Rita open, I was like, I've got to come and do Rita. You know, it is a good, decent ride. I've missed it over the past few weeks, so I thought, yeah, let me head in there. Especially there was no queue for it, literally just opened. So I was like, right, I'll head straight into the queue for Rita. A few people ahead of me, quite a few people in front of me on there, but you know, it was moving, everyone getting to the front of the queue. And then these people, right, they head on the fence and they jump over and join their other family. And this geezer, this guy was not having it at all. He was like, queue jumpers. And yeah, they ignored him and they shouted something back. I'm not too sure what it was, but they shouted something back. We all carried on, and then we got to the platform on Rita, and I actually hadn't gotten to the platform yet. I was standing on those staircases just before you head onto the ride platform, and this guy and the other group were on there. And then he actually told one of the operators that they'd queue jumped. Operators weren't having any of it. They were like, right, get off, we've heard that you queue jumped, get off, you know, exit the ride. And yeah, they exited the ride. I mean, that shows how seriously some of the employees take queue jumping. I mean, the guys that queue jumps, I mean, they could have made it a little bit more discreet. Actually, I probably should cut that out, you know, I don't condone queue jumping at all, but you know, they jumped over the fence and everyone was applauding them and how they actually got over the fence. I mean, their family were, or friends were, and yeah, everyone was like, wow, well done, you got over that fence. I mean, they could have made it a bit more discreet, come on. But anyway, this guy wasn't having it, and yeah, they got evicted from the ride, imagine that. But yeah, there we go, it shows how seriously the queue jumping is now taken at Alton Towers and even Thorpe Park. I think there's like a contact number that you can contact if anyone's disrupting the queue line or if there are queue jumpers, which is great to see. More serious action taken on these people who skip the queues and we wait hours and hours. But yeah, great to see. In terms of Rita, do you know what? Absence makes the heart grow fonder, because I really enjoyed Rita. Granted, it's a little bit rough, but the launch on that is awesome. I really enjoyed it. And you know what? It might actually be crawling up in ranks in terms here at Alton Towers. Did I prefer Rita than Smiler? Well, I think I'm going to take a ride on Smiler next, of course, utilising that single rider as always here at Alton Towers. Only one ride that uses it, of course, that's the Smiler. Also have a ride on an Oblivion. But so far, I've really enjoyed the day and especially liked Rita. It really shocked me, that one. It's time to head into the HEX sector, and also around Alton Towers. They've got all of these guest services hub which were recently put in as well. There's one over in Dark Forest. If you need any help, then they're always there to help with the guest services, little booths, and yeah, there's plenty of those around actually. I think there's 3 or 4 around the resort, which is always great to see, increasing customer satisfaction. But it's time to head into HEX sector, home of 2 world-class coasters and 2 flat rides? No, not flat rides, sorry. Funfair rides? Yes, I think we can call them that. Here in HEX sector then, you've got the 2 Funfair rides, Spin Jam and also Twistatron. I've already said so many times, I'm pretty sure I could write a whole essay about why the Retro Squad shouldn't be here in 2024, but I feel like they definitely will be making a return. No, maybe not definitely, maybe that's a strong use of vocabulary, but I think there's a quite high chance that we could see Spin Jam back again for season 3, I think it will be, of Spin Jam next year. Yeah, season 3. And yeah, it'll be back here in HEX sector. And if you want to know my full reasons why, go and check out the latest video here on the channel, because I explain why the Retro Squad will be staying here at Alton Towers in 2024. Granted, Spin Jam actually looks quite good and it's actually quite enjoyable. It's a bit like a washing machine, but it is a fun ride when I last rode it. Maybe I'll go on it today, you never know. And also Twistatron over there. I don't have any sort of urge to go on Twistatron because I've not heard great things about it. But Spin Jam, it looks decent, and I think if they'll get a permanent Tivoli Extreme, it'd look good. But apparently, now I'm not too involved with the Funfair community, but apparently the owners of this, Wilmot's Attractions, have bought another Extreme, and apparently Alton Towers have brought this one. So I think that says a lot about the future of Spin Jam, but we'll leave that there and we'll head on the B&M Beauty, the B&M Classic, the original B&M dive roller coaster. And it's not Tom Daly, it is Oblivion. Near to vertical drop. Let's go. Just a 5-minute wait for Oblivion, and yeah, straight in the station. And the great thing is, I've got a front row ride today here on Oblivion, which is great. Very rare that I actually get put on front row, so very thankful that I got put on front row. It's luck of a draw really with Oblivion. But yeah, they say you get front row on every row, or 2 rows here on Oblivion. But yeah, you don't really get front row and back row, do you? That doesn't make sense. Front row view on back row. It just doesn't sound right. They're lying really, aren't they? Yeah, great to get back on Oblivion. B&M dive coaster here at the resort, opened back in 1998. The first B&M dive coaster, near to vertical drop on this one as well. And yeah, we've got a little bit of a stack up on the station, so hopefully they can get these trains flying out. Usually Oblivion has really good operations, and it shows on days like today when the wait is only 5 minutes. Great to see. He's a man, and he's made out of wicker. It's time for a ride on the Wicker Man, the newest roller coaster here at Alton Towers, opened back in 2018, manufactured by GCI, and there's no smoking in the queue line. Advertised a 25-minute wait as well for the Wicker Man, always worth a 25-minute wait. Or I'd even argue worth an hour and a half wait for Wicker Man. Awesome wooden coaster, one of the best in the country. It's always great to get back on the Wicker Man here at Alton Towers. Opened back in 2018, 5 years old this year. And yeah, I've always said that I'm not too keen on the Wicker Man. Well, I haven't always said, but a few years ago I was like, oh, it's an alright, it's a decent coaster. But now I absolutely love it. It's probably my favourite coaster here at Alton Towers. The Wicker Man, awesome ride, and also an awesome theme to go along with it. But what doesn't have much theming is Spinball Whizzer, which I'm going to head around next because it is back open. It opened a few months ago in April here at Alton Towers. A bit of a delayed opening for this. However, I did go on it at Christmas, and yeah, it always has no queue at Christmas, which is great. However, it's back open now. I think I might take a ride, one of my final rides of the day here at Alton Towers, and considering it's been the summer holidays, it hasn't been busy at all. The weeks heading up to the summer holidays, so about 2 weeks ago, a week ago, there was loads of school trips here at the resort, and there's still a few trips dotted around. However, it's drastically decreased in the summer holidays because of course schools are off now. So yeah, those school trips just don't happen because schools are out, obviously. It's only a 25-minute wait for Spinball Whizzer. Probably gonna head in this queue now and yeah, head on this Mara spinning coaster. Getting quite old now, quite faded. I always say this, come on, let's have a refurbishment of Spinball Whizzer. Potentially the removal of it, but it is a great spinning coaster, it's a great family coaster, and I would like to see it have a long-term future here at Alton Towers. But the way that it's looking, it doesn't look too great in terms of the future. Also, I wanted to add, I'm here on a Sunday, which is the best day to come if you're coming in the summer holidays. Yes, it's the weekend, however, it seems that people don't really come on Sundays, whether that's because they have work on Mondays, so they want to get like a day's rest, but Saturdays are always busier than Sundays, and Sundays seem to be the universal day that is not too busy here at the resort. So definitely I recommend, if you can, come down to the resort, come down to Alton Towers on a Sunday, because it will always be less busy than a Saturday. #1 tip from me. And also, do Spinball Whizzer later on in the day, never at the start. First ride of the season then on Spinball Whizzer, and yeah, it's a decent Mara spinning coaster. Not as good as Dragon's Fury over at Chessington World of Adventures, but it's still a decent coaster and a good family ride to have here at Alton Towers. And these are the type of coasters that they need to be keeping, because there's not really many family attractions here at Alton Towers. So Spinball Whizzer in the future, definitely a refurbishment needs to happen, or at least a repaint of the track. Anyway, there's 30 minutes left of my day here at Alton Towers, so I'm going to head over to the Alton Manor, because yes, it's finally reopened today for the last 2 hours or so. So I'm going to head over there and check out all the latest updates, because I've heard there's been some changes on the inside of this awesome dart ride. Let's head over. In the queue then for Curse at the Alton Manor, and unfortunately, while the attraction has opened, which I'm very grateful for, this inflatable pipe down here isn't blowing out smoke, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I'm glad it's open, because this is a ride that I came down to Alton Towers today and really wanted to do, because I haven't been on it for probably about 6 weeks now, so it's been quite a while. And the main thing is, I've heard a lot of updates. I've heard about a lot of updates from the inside of this attraction, which I'm very excited to see whether it improves the experience, because while this is a great ride, there's quite a lot of dark spaces in it, so let's see if they've improved on that over the past few weeks. But I tell you what, the theming is so much better for this from when it was dual. And there we go, that is Alton Towers Resort in summer of 2023. It's the start of the summer holidays. Definitely recommend coming here on a Sunday. It always seems to be the quietest day, even in the summer holidays. And you know what that means? That's the start of so much content to be coming here on the channel. Got so many trips planned. I'm not going to say all of them. You just have to wait and see. We've got a Splash Landings trip coming up, maybe, potentially. Flamingo Land getting back on sick. And Blackpool Pleasure Beach late night riding, which will be really good to get to. But in terms of my day down here at Alton Towers, it has been really good. I can't complain. I've gone on all of the major coasters except from the Smiler. I went on Curse the Alton Manor. In terms of ride of Curse the Alton Manor, didn't actually talk about that, so I'll talk about it quickly now. It needs some work done. I was expecting a little bit more, to be honest, but I actually think my ride on there was worse now than 5 weeks ago. There was a lot of light leaking into the building. I could see a lot of the roofing, a lot of the fans as well. Some of the effects weren't working, which is a bit of a shame, such as the mirror effect where Emily Alton comes in your carriage. The carriage on the other side wasn't even moving, so I really hope they do some refurbishment to that ride. I hope it doesn't end up like the state that Jewel was in. Hopefully they continue. I've heard rumours that it's going to be closing down in the next few weeks or after the summer holidays, so they can refurbish it and bring back some of the effects that have gone down, and also cover up some of those dark spaces, because it's very, very prevalent where there are dark spaces. But with that said, Curse the Alton Manor, it's a brilliant dark ride attraction down here at Alton Towers, and a brilliant haunted house, so much better than what Jewel was. Also quickly had a ride on Galactica there as well. It's a decent coaster, it does what it says on the tin. But with that said though, I've had a really good day down here at Alton Towers. Nothing to complain about really. Queues have been very minimal. Maximum queue today was probably around about 40 minutes. Come here on a Sunday if you can. But with that said, smash the like button if you did enjoy this video, smash the subscribe button as well, because there's going to be so much content coming up here on the channel, and by the end of the summer holidays I want to get to 3,000 subscribers, so help us get there please. But with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.